Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, so I'm going to show another specific screenshot today. And you might have seen it in a couple episodes, but yeah, throughout my seasons or episodes of my messy YouTube/podcast, I am going to be showing and re-showing screenshots, especially I need to find the first screenshot of his because I don't know why, but there are some men who, I don't know if they know why dating apps are for, because they see my profile and they see we are not compatible, but they are so determined to prove to me that my standards don't matter, but they don't matter to them. And they don't know what I have been through to where now I have had to write my standards. And especially like I'm going to do another episode really soon where a man told me you have too many restrictions. No, I even looked up the definition and I typed in the definition of standards and restrictions. So that episode's going to be coming. And yes, I'm petty because it's like I should be allowed to try to find someone. And if I never find that somebody, which I've mostly given up on, I now mostly have my dating apps for seeing the ignorance, the racism, the sexism, and everything in between, and also the catfish, which, yeah, let's just say it's like I'm trying to finish my novel, but like the more I write the novel, I get more screenshots, and I I can I know I've said this several times, but I can do 300 episodes of dating nightmares and catfish episodes put together easily. But anyway, some of these men feel like they need to write a full essay to try to prove to me that I am wrong with my conclusions. And only a couple ask me, but they ask me in very ignorant ways. Do you have two trucks? Do you have two houses? And it's like, what? I don't even have, oh, I'll even put my standards on this list. And some of them, they get really triggered when I say must have or started investments. I didn't say how much money. They act like I expect them to be thousandaires, millionaires. I'm paying off student loan debt too. That's not what I'm trying to do, boo boo. It's like I am trying to make sure that I get ready for my future, ready for my retirement, because while I was growing up, I watched what my parents did, and I'm trying to mirror what they did because I learned a lot from them. And at the same time, I am trying to create my business with different streams of income that while I was working on my MBA and everything, and I was figuring out what are my loves, because when I went to interviews, no one loved how I walked, so they wanted to find any and every excuse not to hire me, but then they would turn around and say I was overqualified. Or if they would be like, can you get surgery to fix that because that would distract us, or that would restrict or distract the client while you're presenting or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But these men don't understand. And I have watched some of my family members who, some of them used to pick on my parents or mock my parents and even mock my sisters and I. They called us white girls wannabe because when we would go to their house, sometimes I would have my notebook out. I'd be writing stories or poetry or reading my books. My sister would be like, or we would be doing our homework, especially with high school times. We'll take books to do our homework or whatever, and family members would just pick on us and, oh, you're going to college, oh, you're trying to be so, oh, you're going to try to do something. But now yeah, some of them kind of look at us a little differently now, but at the same time some of them only look differently at my perfect sister because none of them wanted to find out who I really am, and they kind of play telephone. But yeah, let's just say they don't know nothing. They don't know anything about me. Yeah, no, no, no. I'm not going to put a double negative in a sentence. But anyway, these men don't know what I have been through, especially dating. These men don't know the struggles and the lessons and things, and just investments alone. Like, because this guy, okay, I'm going to read the part that I can read or whatever. He's like, share your views, or they might share some and be hardline on others are a waste of your time. And as this is the part where my first standard is I will not date a Republican, Trump supporter, or MAGA. I will not. And it's like on the slide, okay, I have articles and stuff that you guys can look at and read. It's like divorce rate is going way up because of Trump. So read that. And a majority or a lot of the divorced men are voting for Trump. So just think, look at who Trump is. Look at who he is. He cheated on all of his wives, all of them. And then he said like he's rich so he can grab women by the like a lot of the men that are like, because some of these men, I'm a Christian man, yeah, but you're voting for Trump. Oh, he's pro-life. No, no, he knew that was gonna get you. It's like he's he learned a lot about what to say, how to say, and when to say things, because he also said he was a Christian back in the day, and how like he loved the Bible and everything, but then a couple months ago he said he's not a Christian. It's like, because he's got you now. He's got you now. But okay, but it relates because a lot of these men have the nerve to try to tell me that I'm not allowed to have my standards, not restrictions. And the divorce rate, like if you look at the divorce rate, I'm trying to find a man, or because part of me, like 10% of me is still trying. I still think there is a little hope, but at the same time, I am working my tush off on my novels, my children's books, my greeting cards, and my other streams, and also YouTube and everything, so that I can adopt, I can foster on my own, that I can be self reliant and independent on my own, independent. And recently there was this, I need to find it. It's going to be in another video probably, but there was this one African American guy, I think was a football player or athlete or whatever. In the interview, he was bragging like, yeah, I like the poor girls. I like the disadvantaged girls because when I tell them to do something, they're going to do it. They're easier to control. It's like if I have an independent woman, if I say to do something, it's like she could just leave if she doesn't like it. These are the type of men. I don't know which way he's voting, but a lot, it's like if you listen to some of these interviews of men who support Trump, I see a pattern. They love the control of women. They don't want to see the women go too far or exceed to a certain extent or point or position. With one reason why I dated Mr. No Heart was I thought that he liked that, but he pretended. He had a mask on once, like, because I think I was in between jobs. I was still working promotional modeling, but my walking was getting a lot worse. So I had a hard time finding jobs. And so I was kind of trying to look for work, but I didn't know what to do. And this is right before I started working at a drug and alcohol testing facility for one of my friends. I was doing the marketing for them. And, but it's like he said he was impressed by my drive, or that I wasn't giving up, and he was looking for work too. So we were kind of in the same situation. But I didn't see how much he didn't like my motivation until like I had 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, And then I was saving up money. I paid off all my credit card debt. I was starting to pay off, like, with the student loans and stuff. I was like, you know what, let's start with one, pay one off, and like do double, triple payments every paycheck. I would put a certain amount until that one's eliminated. And then, because I'm trying to finish another one off by the end of this year. So this way, where it's like the interest will be slower. It'll still be there, but it'll be slower. But anyways, yes, I know I keep drifting off, but it connects. But yeah, if for anybody new, just know my YouTube channel is as messy as my life. But it's like this Cjsc or whatever, he doesn't understand. And he, especially when it comes to my motivation, my determination. I dated a guy for 7 years. In the first 2 years, because yeah, right at the end of the second year, I was just like, oh, that was a mask. But then I was too scared to leave because my walking was getting worse. And just like my mother said, as long as you walk like that, no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you. So I thought I was going to be stuck and trapped in a relationship. And, but anyways, if you listen to the episodes, you already know. But he basically is like, so basically, you're just like a politician. I'm not just like a politician. I'm not. But when I look at Trump and the people that vote for him, when I look at Trump and the way just, he treats women like garbage. But then he has a nerve to call immigrants garbage. But then he treats women like garbage. But then these Christian people keep saying they love a man that will treat women like garbage. He cheated on all three of his wives, but they keep making up excuses. And then it's like bankruptcy, like filing for bankruptcy and everything like that. They just say, oh, he's a businessman. He's a businessman. Oh, that. And then I, there's so much on, like, so yeah, the Trump thing can be like a total series on its own. But if you're willing to vote for that man, you're not a guy that I want anything to do with. I don't want to deal with a man that is going to vote for somebody who mocks people with disabilities. I have a disability. So if I date a guy who I think is going to mock me, because I've been through that before. It's like, even in college, like, oh, and it's really funny. Some of these men who mocked me in college, all of a sudden they want to match with me on dating apps, even though they would mock how I walk. And they would be like, oh, here's the crippled girl. Here's the crippled girl. Look, look, look. This is how you walk. This is how you walk. Crippled girl, crippled girl. Yeah. And it's like I had nowhere to go. I've talked about Oakland University. It's like I have so many stories on that school. And it's like I was already going through enough at home. I was already having a nightmare at home. And so it's like I was trying to find friendship, but then certain people, men, kept, like, I realized how much, yeah, let's just say Oakland University is, I have, I probably have 100 stories just about that. Because, anyway, okay, yeah, I'm already halfway at the extent, so it's already going to be a part two. But I've already been mocked enough because of how I walked, and that was before I was diagnosed. Now that I'm diagnosed, I've shared screenshots. I'll see if I can find, like, maybe part two. But there's this one guy who I talked to, who, it's like during COVID, we were streaming, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, you're so smart," and all this other stuff. And it's like, streaming, I don't really have to mention my disability. But he was like, "Huh." It's like, I think we're like 5 hours away from each other. But he was like, after COVID, he was like, I really want to see you. It was like, I'll book a flight. He was like, would you be down for a long distance relationship? And I was just like, what? You're kidding. But as soon as I mentioned that a disability, he was like, oh, that's why no one wants you. I will never forget that night because we were streaming and he said that, and I just remember some of the ladies are like, "What did you just say?" She's still the same woman. She just has a disability. And he was just like, yeah, he was like, but I would want to take a girl dancing. I would want to take her to do this and do that and everything like that. And it's just like, so I I did have some haters and they're like, ah, she's nothing but a, yeah, don't date her. Oh, it's like I'm a better woman because I can walk right. Oh, she can't even dance. Oh, she can't even do this. Oh, it's like, because I mean, he was an attractive guy. So some of the women were just like, oh yeah, you don't want to date her. She's nothing. She's nothing. And I'm just kind of shocked because I'm just like, wow. So he went all the way from wanting to book a flight to I'm no longer good enough. But 2 or 3 months ago, he messaged me and he was like, are you still in a wheelchair? That's all he said was, are you still in a wheelchair? And I'm just like, oh, so if I'm not in a wheelchair, like, and the thing is, I was never in a wheelchair. I have a scooter to help me, but I walk with a walker. But even with that comment, I'm like, you didn't even listen. You didn't even pay attention. It's so it's like this guy thinks it's all political, but with a lot of the Republican Party that I have met or talked to, when it comes to minimum wage, oh, there was this one guy named Zach. Yeah, I think no. I want to say Zach. 1 minute, I'm gonna look in my handy dandy cell phone because yeah, I remember. No, it is Zach. Yep. Okay. It's like he was trying to debate me with politics, and all of his points were just the propaganda that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and like John James and all of them say. It's just like, what are you talking about? Because when I mentioned how we need to increase minimum wage and things, which I'm going to have an episode about how much money people make around the world that work at McDonald's and stuff, because during the interview, one of like when Trump was at McDonald's, he wasn't working there, he was just there. But then he had the nerve to say that Kamala lied when one thing he hasn't lived is like he's lived with a silver spoon in his mouth. He doesn't know how with job interviews with career counselors, they tell you have different versions of your resume and you create a resume based off the position. And so, being a lawyer, you, like putting McDonald's may not help. Some people might put it at the bottom, especially if they had maybe manager position or management, something like that, or if something crucial or something that happened there that you really benefited, that would like entice the HR person. But see, it's like that right there shows how ignorant a lot of people voting are, because he said just because it's not on her resume, and then he says, oh, does she have the proof? Does she have the pay stub? And so, like, I don't have pay stubs for like even like I would have to go online because a lot of it's electric now, so it's like I would have to look it up and print it out, but I don't keep track of that stuff. I don't. I simply don't. But a lot of the men who are voting for him, they believe all of the stuff he is saying, and it's just annoying and well, really annoying. And then a lot of the men who are voting for him, when I talk about my goals, because like Tomas, yeah, he couldn't stand that I was writing my children's books. A lot of you guys who listened to that episode, yeah, he ghosted me because like, cause oh yeah, don't have a first date at their house, cause then they're gonna know where you live. Okay, common sense. Think about that. But anyway, when I went to his house to confront him, yes, I did. Yeah, his reason was because You are such a pure spirit. You are so beautiful and amazing. You're writing your books and you're starting your business. You're too good of a woman for me. But then, okay, he's a Democrat. But when I talk to a lot of the Republican men, oh no, I can't deal with that. Oh, you one of those smart ones. Oh, you're trying to start a business? No, I need you. Like, no, I want to date you because you haven't had any kids yet. You won't have any baby daddies. I want to make sure that I'm the only one that's been in you or been, like made babies with you, and but then they have kids and they have baby mothers. Some of like a lot of them, because a lot of them are divorced. And I'm talking about these are majority white men. A lot of black men won't even talk to me because they say I'm too white, too proper, and stuff like that, or I don't know how to be black. So, a majority of these men are white. Some are Indian. Yeah, and it's yeah. So I need to lay that out just in case anybody was pre-assuming. But it's really like okay, yeah, I'm gonna do another part on this. Sorry, like sorry, not sorry. Anyways, and he's like he does all this talk about they're all thick as thieves and they don't care anything about you or whoever that like whoever, and then vaccinated or not, rich or poor, and it's like okay, I'm a Democrat, not because of the people who are Democratic or the leaders. It's because of every child that deserves to have breakfast and lunch and be fed every meal. I was a teacher and I had like I bought extra snacks and I would like with the lunch lady, she would throw away tons of food at the end of the day, a lot of days. So I would ask her, like, can we box this up? And while they were in gym class or art class or whatever, I would go and put them in my students' book bags that didn't get to eat at home. It's like I won't go over all of that or whatever, but I had a list and I kept track and I know which book bag is which or whatever. So then I would put the food in those book bags while they were and it's like this guy wants to say, oh, they don't care about you. Like, yeah, I care about the causes. I care about women having the choice of their bodies. And I'm a Christian. It's like, okay, if it's a sin, it's like allow the woman to make that choice. In the Bible it says that it's like we have a choice. And also they like cuz we're getting to the extent where we're arresting women for having miscarriages. We can't control that with our bodies. But all these men want to tell us. And it's like, um, bro, let's strap that cramp machine to your body. Okay. And oh yeah, now we're gonna put like pull it all the way up to you having transactions. Yeah. And that like because I remember the Try Guys did the experiment and like I think it should be like mandatory in school for a guy to graduate high school. Yeah, he has to go through it, plain and simple. Because I keep hearing a lot of Republican men. They're like, oh, like I'm not gonna vote for a woman. Women aren't supposed to be leaders because like some because of religion. No, it's like, and so that's why when I want to start a business, a lot of men they don't want me to start a business because that's gonna show that I'm a leader. They don't want me being a leader because that means they're gonna have to. They think they're gonna have to compete about leadership in the house and they think I'm going to like try to take over. And a lot of them don't like my education. They plain and simply tell me that. Because and that's one reason why for about a year and a half I did not mention my education. But then like sometimes when I would act really nerdy because I would talk about my novels or my books and my business ideas and like how do you know about that? How do you know about that? How do you buy that? I'm like, okay, I have an MBA. What? Oh, nah, this ain't gonna work. And it's like, I didn't know you were one of the smart ones. And yeah, that's a white guy. Just have to let you know. But it's just really like when I get messages like this, especially with the investing part, which I'll start in the next episode. But Mr. No Heart, Mr. Lockakey both still owe me money. And Mr. Lockakey told me the only way you're going to get your money back is if you, one, get back with me, and two, sleep with me. Is like to my satisfaction. Then I can start paying you back your money. Yeah, that's the kind, like, yeah. And then Mr. No Heart, he so called as a Democrat, but I'm second guessing him because like all of his family are Republican, and they always told me, "Oh, well, Candace Owens, it said," and it's like, "Yeah, you need to start listening to Candace Owens, and you need to like subscribe to Candace Owens, like." And and I'm just like, okay, so out of all of the black people in the world, but then they would find another black Republican, and it's just like, but it's really crazy how they would keep telling me certain things, and oh, I'm gonna tell the story soon about how they tried to test me on if I was smart enough to have 3 degrees, because I realized it, I think just last year, because I was thinking of all the awful and stupid things my Mr. No Heart's mom used to say to me. And it's like, and then I thought about that game and I realized what they did. But anyway, thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human. But guys, we have to vote. And with dating and having standards, men who write stuff like this prove my point even more. Because I have the standards I have because I've dated the men who don't fit any of these standards, who they just made my life even more of a mess than it already was. I was already trying to fight the fight of my undiagnosed disability, and everyone calling me a liar and telling me I was making it up and I was just a distraction. But now look, and now I'm trying to start my business, and now I'm trying to do everything newly diagnosed. But now everyone, I keep having there keeps being men writing me saying such hateful, awful, evil things. And then if I match with the guy and I tell them what I'm working on, they trash it. And they're like, well, no, you just need to focus on having a baby. It's like, you're at this age, you need to make sure you get at least a couple babies out your way. I'll help you. Yeah, and it's just like, oh my gosh, but you just said you'll help me. It's like, yeah, like God needs to help you. But anyway. Have a great day. And yeah, God needs to help some of these men out here but yeah, read the articles. I always try to come with at least some evidence, screenshots, articles, videos. But take care, guys. Take care.